Up, guys? It is Uncle Bob, and welcome to the channel. Welcome, guys. Welcome back. How's it going? Happy Saturday. It is time. It is time. I have waited, as always, all week for this. Oh, it's good to be here. Hope everyone's doing all right. Hope everybody is enjoying their weekend so far. For me, it is my Friday night, so we have had some of the whisk, and we're feeling good. We're feeling great. We got that general juice in us. So now it is time to lead my men across the finish line. We're back for Advanced Wars. Today is field training mission number 9, air defense. And then 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. Yeah, wow. After this, we only have 4 more left because that last one is not an actual like mission with special intel. But yeah, after this, it's only 4 more. That is awesome. That means we're just trekking along week after week, playing a little mission here and there. Soon the maps will be intricate enough that these will be proper live events, as opposed to, me playing games for like 10 minutes and the rest of it is just me chilling. Which, that is kind of what we want, is just to be chilling. And hopefully this is the last week that I do not have any way to either interact with the like 1 or 2 people that'll actually chat, or whatever it is. I can actually monitor what's going on and check the quality control, all that. Hopefully next week, because I will have a secondary device with which to watch this on. So I should be able to do that starting next week. I think it's been this will make 3 installations of this series where it's just, where I'm just not able to do that. So, there have been a couple people that have, or one person, multiple messages, that I've gotten the last couple weeks, and I've just not been able to answer to them. And that is disappointing, because it's not like this channel is ever going to blow up. It's not like it's ever going to be big. I'm playing a game that's fucking 24 years old. Like, let's be realistic here. But, for the one person that does chime in, I'd like to be able to talk to him. But sadly, that is not this week. Next week, I should have that back. So we'll see how that goes come next week. I might have to, troubleshoot a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. We'll see which device I end up even recording on once I get it. And then tomorrow is also a very special day. Tomorrow I get to find out what is the next game that I play on my channel, which is, I'm having a hard time choosing. Because, during the week, Saturdays is reserved for this. This is strategy Saturdays. This is my thing. But for the rest of the week, I have 2 games. And obviously, I just beat Mega Man Battle Network for the Game Boy Advanced. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for the next one. And I'm kind of having a tough time deciding, because I've been seeing a lot of Pokemon stuff around lately, and it's been giving me the itch, because on this channel I've played through Pokemon Red version 3 times, one with each starter, my last time with which was a Nuzlocke. And I'm debating on doing another Nuzlocke, but this time instituting some other rule. I think I decided that if I was going to do that, it would be no items in battle, which I don't really remember doing a lot of anyway. But, no battle items. So, no healing during battle, no nothing. So, I'm thinking about adding an extra stipulation to that, making it a little harder. Because I had lost footage and I deleted the series, what I had of it, that I had uploaded, just because if I can't do the series, I'm not going to care, and I didn't want to redo it at the time. I'm thinking of Dragon Quest 2, Dragon Warrior 2 for us Americans. I'm thinking about doing that because I had only gotten a few videos into that, and, I don't remember basically anything that I did. So I feel like that could be perfect. Enjoy a little bit of Toriyama artwork while you're playing your games. Nothing Toriyama related is ever gonna hurt while you're playing video games. So Pokemon Red, another play would be my fourth playthrough. Dragon Quest 2, which would be basically blind, basically. I have also been, I guess, speaking of replays, I've also been tempted on playing the first Mother again. Because, having played at very least the first 3 NES Final Fantasy games, which are kind of the bedrock for that era of RPGs. Playing through the 3 NES Final Fantasies and playing through Mother, it gave me a lot of room to appreciate how special the first Mother is. And I know Earthbound, Mother 2, I know that game is supposed to be even more special, and I know plenty enough about Mother 3 to know how special that game is. But, there's people that, and I get it, and I fully understand this, and I think I may have in one of my videos talked about this somewhere. But when it comes to people who hear of the Mother games and they want to experience them, Mother 3, it seems like from what I've seen, has enough old schoolness, difficulty-wise, in it, that all a player needs is just some kind of RPG, turn-based RPG experience, and you're good to go. You don't really need much more. For Mother 2, for Earthbound, it seems like you need some actual retro RPG experience. Now, that could, from what I've seen with other players, that retro experience could just be Mother 3. If you played through that game, you can play through Mother 2. Now, with Mother 1, I think it's much more a piece of its time, because I don't know if playing Mother 2 is enough experience to play Mother 1 without needing to use a guide. I'll say if you can, because I guess I just happened to do this over the course of the years, if you can beat the original OG NES, if you can beat the original Final Fantasy, which I don't think I needed a guide for that game at all. It was pretty simple overall. Might have to do a little mindless wandering, but there's not really, until you get the ship, there's not really a lot of places you could get lost in. And by the time you get the ship, you have enough of a grasp of the game that you shouldn't get lost after that. You may need to look up some little quirks, but as long as you're going for OG experience, if you can beat the original Final Fantasy, and you can beat the original Dragon Quest, which is not a long game. And I think the only thing I needed to look up was what exact tile, that there's an item hidden in an overworld swamp that you gotta find. And the swamp is actually not that big, and because you're basically told it's a given amount of steps one direction and a given amount of steps in another direction from start. But the problem is it's not a nice open world, so you can't actually do that. But just knowing the map, what I knew around where it would be. And when I actually looked up where it was to not waste time, I actually sat there and was like, I actually probably could have found this if I would have actually just tried for maybe 5-10 minutes. I actually could have tried it and found it. But beating those 2 games and then playing Mother 1 is like the perfect amount of old school experience you need for that game to, I would say, be able to play it and appreciate the story in the way it presents it to you, as well as, everything from the random encounters to everything else. It helps you understand both the limitations of the game naturally, and not just to use it as an excuse and be like, well, it's an old game, so they couldn't, do as much with it, which is true, but you don't really appreciate it until you play other games. And, seeing a game where the final battle, Spoilers. The final battle, when the fact that you fought like when I played it, I didn't run from any fights, no matter how bad the random encounters were. I fought everyone that I could, and I beat ass. And you get all of these powers that are strong enough to contend with the biggest of the baddest of the best. And then you get to the final boss, and you can't do anything to him. But because this is a who has an inordinate amount of psychic abilities, using just love, using the power of love, is all that it takes to beat him. Like I said, spoilers, you sing the bad guy over the course of turns the lullaby that, I guess it's his mother, but technically your grandmother, because the premise is your grandparents were a married couple, had a kid or two, and after they had kids, they had gotten abducted by aliens. And they ended up raising an alien, and the father ends up taking some of their space psychic knowledge down to Earth, and this alien is tasked with hunting, is basically with destroying the Earth because Earth people took their secrets. And he actually gives you the chance to come with him. And obviously you don't, but you end up using this lullaby to make him so sad that he leaves and you win the battle. Which that sounds stupid when I phrase it like that, but I purposely phrased it like that. But it's the fact that, you're using not violence, not all the powers you accumulated. You use love as a way to stop whatever force is incoming. I think that is actually, for real, a great way to deal with that game and make it noteworthy for 1989 and how special that is. Now, there might be other games that might, I need to play some of the other Dragon Warriors for the NES. I know Dragon Quest 3 is supposed to be legendary. I can't wait to play that. But yeah, I guess that's a full way to circle the wagon and say I want to replay Mother 1 because I had a really fun time with it. It was not only fun and quirky, but also because I've played enough retro games, a lot of the random encounters and some of the weird translation things just don't really affect me as much, because when you speak retro Gameanese, a lot of these things are pretty easy to figure out. You know where to look. And anybody who's played old games and then plays new games, you know what I'm talking about. Because I remember having a friend watching me play The Last of Us back like a decade ago. Because I was late to the party with that game. I was almost a decade late to playing that game. But I remember I had a friend watching me play, and when it came to just, because it's a linear game, I'm just going to the corners, exploring, grabbing all the goodies. And he's like, how do you even know where to just look and find things? And it's like, once you've, especially with retro games, like, they teach you to see the video game matrix. And it helps you see, like, the language of games and where things will be hidden, where to go, the flow of the game, and everything else. Some of those old games, you need a specific kind of experience. I think it was the same thing with when I played through the very first Metroid game. When I played through it, I had somebody on some video at some point, I don't know, in the 2000 I've released, somebody had left a remark that was like, explore Metroid like Zelda. And what I took that to mean is, like, if you're exploring the original Zelda game, because it's more of an open world nature of a game, but it is a grid, and a pretty small grid, all things considering, you explore things very methodically. And doing that for Metroid, I was able to beat the original Metroid with basically, I mean, there's with difficulty as far as the game, but not exploration wise. But I can see somebody who may not have played games like that kind of exploring, them just being like, I'm just going to look at a map. Fuck that shit. And again, it's just exposure to the way that games were made. For all their natural limitations and not, you learn how to read the games on a different level. And that sounds dumb, but it's time to go. I've been chilling enough. It is time for air defense. Rocket and missiles are included in this briefing of, or no, not of, on indirect combat units. My superiors have really been dropping the ball lately. The enemy already has fighters and bombers, but it appears that we don't. But I did arrange to have some experimental missiles assigned to you. And I also got you some rockets. With all you've done, Jackal, it's the least they could do. It seems that the enemy always has superior units deployed. I apologize. Anyway, it's time to move out. Alright, you've assembled a pretty well-balanced army. It looks like the enemy bombers have plenty of fuel and ammunition this time. If you don't take them out, they'll do a lot of damage to your units. But since they're across the sea, you can't easily attack them. This is where missiles come in handy. Let's see what they can do. Select this unit. Missiles can fire on air units from a distance. Units that are 3 to 5 spaces away fall within their range. Press the A button to open the command menu. That's right, fire. 100%. Missiles go through air units like Swiss cheese. See, missiles can even take out bombers. Since they don't engage directly like anti-air units, they don't take damage. However, they can't fire right after moving. Your main focus is to draw units within their attack range. Oh, that ends that wrong cadence. It's smart to use them in conjunction with anti-air units. Now let's test out our rockets. Select this unit. Rockets are basically powered up artillery. They have the same attack range as missiles, 3 to 5 spaces. Now open the command menu. Does it even matter? I'd rather hit the mid-tank. That's good. They don't do as much damage as missiles, but it's not too shabby. The greatest advantage of indirect combat units is that they don't take damage. But as with artillery, they take heavy damage from direct attacks, so you have to protect them. One more thing about missiles and rockets. Their movement is classified as tire movements. This is similar to tread movement, but the difference is clear on flat terrain. Select terrain or a unit and press the R button for more details. I'm going to leave the rest up to you. Do you want any strategic advice? Always. First, try to take out as many enemy units as you can with your anti-air units and your missiles. If you surround your missiles and rockets to protect them, the enemy will move in to attack. If you take the units around the HQ with your rockets, the battle will be yours. You can send troops into the HQ by transport copter or surround it slowly and work your way in. Do it however you like. Good luck. Wait a minute. Let me pay attention to the fucking obvious here. Alright, let's move on out. Supply it up. Most excellent. That looks like it covers pretty sweetly. All right. That's exactly what I wanted. Maybe it was not exactly what I wanted. I would have expected on the incoming for them to do a lot more damage. All right. I lasted the initial barrage. Blow up this mofaku. No thanks. Mm, fuck it, do what little damage I can. All right, hit the big guy. There we go. All right, easy, 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 easy. I will take the initial strike. No! Oh, you got a freebie. Take out my anti-air, pussy. Do it. Do it. Damn. 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 All right, hit you in the trenches. Punch down your throat. I can't believe I got let him take out. And that's what I knew was going to happen too after that shit. Oh, that's annoying. Come on. There we go. Can it work? Can it work? Come on. Can it work? Can it work? Heart of the cards. Heart of the cards. All right. All right. That works. That works. That works. Might as well. If you're not going to stop me, why won't I take it? Oh, that's so cute. Oh, 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 oh. Ah, que pussy. You know what? Fuck it. I have the APC unit there. There we go. See? Problem solved. All right, well, nothing else for y'all to do other than start hoofing it. Start getting on them Lamborghinis. Not like you need to do anything, but, you know. Oh, just the worst kind of overkill. Still mad that I lost that transport copter. I clicked A too fast, too quickly. Too fast, too quickly. Sir. Sir, this is absurd. Blow you off the bridge. Not like I needed to be in the better defensive position. And now one more strike should do it. Oh, no, it might just be just not enough. Nope, it was enough. A little bit of the luck stat on our side. Well done. Keep up the good work. Ugh, I never had a chance this time. Yay! Just wait until next time. Oh, don't worry, next week I'll beat your ass all the same. Okay, so I guess it expected a little bit of a loss from me on technique, but still, that's the fact that I meant to put him down and didn't. I guess I don't think I would have been able to. Maybe, who knows? I guess it wouldn't have made too much of a difference, but that is enough for air defense. I will be back next week with dogfights. That will be field training mission 10. We only have 4 more weeks of the training missions, and we are on to the real deal, and we are on to the real game. I can't wait. Like it says in the title, this is a replay, so I've already played and beaten this game once, but it was now like 2 years ago, and that is not enough for me to forget how, all of the units work, but enough for me to forget what the different maps. Uh-oh. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. All right, my bad. My fucking woman's probably going to text me in a second, wondering how much longer I'm going to be. So I'll probably be, I'm already wrapping it up as it is, but yeah, since I've beaten this game before, uh, you know, I just don't remember all of the map loadouts, where everything is, where everything goes. I don't remember the ambush points, any fog of war, where anything hidden is going to be. There's a lot of things that I just don't remember and I forget. 1 sec. All right. Oops. My bad. Sorry that took so long. It's not like I'm coming back to play. I'm just coming back and just chilling before I got to go back inside and go deal with just, home life. enjoy my freedom for a second. But no, I had to go inside because my son was being a pain in the ass. Because I think I talked about this last week, but his ever since he had that seizure a couple of weeks ago, the anti-seizure medications, bro, they keep this kid wired. All day this kid is wired from this medication. I don't know if his ADHD medication like is having now the opposite effect, because he'll be up all day. He'll go outside, go to multiple parks. He'll be just doing all the things. It's not like he sits at home and does nothing. And it comes time for bed, and he will just sit up there awake until like midnight, 1 in the morning now. And like for him, that's got to suck because he never had this problem before. You know, before he used to be up there, go to sleep, and he'd be asleep in minutes. So the fact that this medicine is giving him, above all things, on top of all the things that this new medication is doing to him, the fact that it is also giving him insomnia fucking blows. And I hate that for him. But obviously, you know, our house is very small, and there is a chance that him yakking in there is going to wake up his sister. And it's like, listen, I don't need you to fall asleep. I don't need you to fight, you know, oh shit. I don't need you to try and, you know, have fights with your insomnia. You know, that's not what you need to do necessarily. But what I do need you to do is just sit and relax. Just sit and chill. Just chill. That's what you need to do. And, you know, I guess in a couple of minutes when I go inside, we'll see how that worked. Where is the lighter? Oh no. Oh no. There it is. But yeah, no, I'm like I said, tomorrow I still haven't figured it out, and I'm like less than 24 hours away from playing a new well, not a new game, but yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's either going to be a replay of Mother 1, another replay of Pokemon Red version, Dragon Quest 2, or I think the other one I'm thinking is Final Fantasy 4. Or obviously Final Fantasy 2 for the Super NES, whatever whatever version you prefer, but you know, it's the same game. And yeah, that's the other one that I'm really strongly considering, because that is a game that I don't remember how far I got, but I had to have gotten near the end of that game at one point. I think maybe at one point I even got, spoilers, I got to the moon in that game. Like I got that far. I got to like the cusp end of that game at some point in my teenage years. And just like every other game, like all the other games that I would play, I eventually just stopped playing and just never finished it. And that's annoying. But it has now been, at very least, a minimum of 15 years, minimum, since I got that far. So, you know, that would put me at 20 years old. And I think I probably did that when I was maybe 17 or 18. So it would be even more than that. But at very least, it was 15 years ago. So it's not going to be a blind run, but it's not going to be a fresh run either. Granted, everything, I feel like everything up until Cecil gets his paladin form, basically all of that, and maybe up to the water fiend, all of that stuff I should have down pat pretty much. I don't think I'll have much difficulty after that. That should be good enough up until there. After that, it's going to be much more shaky, much less knowing of what's going on. So we'll see. But I got to figure out what game I want to play. I just got to figure it out. I haven't figured out a different game that might I haven't figured out anything else that might hit the spot. I do know that I need to at some point play Secret of Mana 2, cuz that's just another game that just it needs playing. It just needs to be played. So, I don't know. There's so much out there. There's so many games that just the list is never ending. Sometimes thinking about it is just overwhelming, especially when there's already just even alone there's 4 games that I'm ready to play right now. But I know that having too many games to play is part of the reason why I never finished games growing up, because I always had another game to play. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. I don't really have much else to say. It was a pretty quiet week. Didn't have anything really crazy going on. Even though I guess I did have my supervisor trying to fuck with me the other day in a way that just annoyed the shit out of me. Cause I feel like he knows he has to know he was wrong. I don't know how this fucking Goomba thinks that he was in the right, but he had I I I don't know, maybe he just ignores the things around him because there were multiple signs. And this is our supervisor. He's not even an entry level supervisor. He's like one step above the entry level supervisions supervisors. He's one step above. And he somehow missed all of the things that showed that we had an altered start time on Friday, yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago if it's past midnight where you are. And I couldn't. I had them, or not. I had them. They had changed the building start time. I'm usually supposed to come in 20 minutes after the front of the warehouse starts. I start 20 minutes after. So it was supposed to start at 3:35 at the front of the house. So that means 3:55 is when I would punch in. But they changed it from 3:35 to 3:45, 10 minutes later. So obviously, what do you think I did? 10 minutes later, just like every other day. And they tried sending me home and telling me that I was late. And it's like, not even at this new building, at the few time changes we've had at this new building, this has been the case. This is how I've always done it. This is how everybody always does it. At the old building where this supervisor used to work with me, he knows at the other building that was not the case. So it was like, no, if everybody comes in 10 minutes later, it's automatically assumed that you're supposed to come in 10 minutes later. And his response to me was to walk over and go grab the schedule and just be like, well, this is the time that you're supposed to adhere to. And it's like, yes, assuming that those building start times are also what they say they are, which Fridays was not. And he knows this is true because if they ever made the building time like 20 minutes later on a day, they wouldn't want me coming in when the paper says coming in the same time as the front of the warehouse, because there won't be much for me to do for the first 20 minutes. So they know that that's dumb, and they know that's not how they run things. I don't know. He's supposedly went through the grapevine that he just didn't know the start time was changed that day. And I almost don't want to believe that, because then that would make me as a supervisor think already less of this guy than I already do. And that might be kind of hard. But who knows? At this new building, he's kind of tried finding more of a voice for himself in the most annoying of ways. But whatever. I'll deal with him the same way I did at the other building, by just filing grievances until this dude just fucks off. Because when I got transferred to this new building, that was my favorite thing, was that, UPS is a very corporate company. So the quality of supervisors on the warehouse level, it's not going to change much. They're going to pretty much suck at their job. but it's all like entry-level managers. You don't expect much. It's a corporate job. But at least the supervisors at this new building were cool to deal with. I didn't really have a lot of personal issues with any of them when I transferred. And sure enough, as soon as I get one of my old supervisors back above me at a new, go figure, it's right back to bullshit with this guy. So, who knows? Fuck him. We'll figure it out. We'll do our best. We always do. And hopefully I just grievance him until he just doesn't talk to me anymore. Because dude has not been over me for 2 weeks and he's already pushing buttons. So, all right, guys. Next week it is dogfights. We will be here for field training mission 10. And yeah, we only got a less than a handful left. And then we move on to the real game itself. So, dogfights next week.